you're just perpetuating the the gap. Sorry, maybe we can have the DBM to respond to that.
Mr. Chair, our computation was based on the average increase for the last 3 years. Kasi at that time that we crafted the projection, nanghingi po kami ng projection from PASOK. Wala po kasing available pa. Sa CHED pala. At that time, that's why we crafted po our...
You're asking them to make projections based on the budgets that they had which were deficient or were not, di ba? May shortfall. So shortfall din yung kanilang projection. I mean, doesn't that, di ba? Hindi ba tama yun? So anyway, maybe you should review, go back to the drawing board and check your projections based on the observations that we have manifested.
Actually, just to be fair lang to DBM, hindi talaga masushoot yung actual amount at yung formula nila. Kasi ang ginagamit nila is the average growth rate of the last 3 years enrollment. Pero alam naman natin in reality, iba-iba ang enrollment. For example, pag urban SUC ka, mas mataas enrollment mo kasi lahat ng mga taga-rural pupunta doon. Diba? Ang rural enrollment, mas mababa. No? Dahil umaalis yung mga estudyante. So, hindi talaga mag-shoot eh. No, hindi talaga siya mag-shoot kasi ang gamit na projected, ang gamit ng mga SUCs natin ay mas accurate dahil mas malapit sila doon sa kanilang constituents. Ngayon, just to move forward lang to our colleagues, what we will assure you is yung 2026 deficiency popondohan natin, no, para hindi makain yung inyong operating fund. Pero let's agree with DBM, ano ba ang moving forward formula? No, kasi hindi talaga mag-shoot. Projection can be plus, can be minus. Diba? Paano kung pag minus, pwedeng subsequent year, bigyan kayo ng karagdagan. Paano kung plus? Isusoli nyo ba? Hindi rin, di ba? So, gagamitin nyo sa subsequent year rin. Di ba? Minsan kasi kung gagawin nilang average project, let's say, ang average growth rate, let's say lang 10%. Pero ang may mga SUC na ang growth niya is 2%. May mga SUC na growth niya is 20%. So paano there must be a reconciling period at one point, no?
Mr.
So
Chair,
we need to come up with that formula later on.
what we build with DBM is the actual. If we will be allocated, let's say, for example, 1 million, based on our actual enrollment, it's only 800,000. When we build DBM, it's actual. So what is allocated will not be wasted. It's just there. Hindi namin gagamitin yung 200,000. Still, it's with DBM. Also, Mr. Chair, if we will be going back to the principle of projection, if it's for the past 3 years average, take note that in 2022, we don't have yet complete cohort. We have our completed cohort, I think, in 2023 because of the senior high implementation. So that's why maybe somehow flawed ng konti po yung naging compilation based on the average for the last 3 years. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Senator Bam and then Senator Lawrence.
Yeah. Yung isang hindi ho natin nakikita dito, yung capacity. No? CHED needs to know what the capacity is for every SUC. So, kunyari po, Batangas State, anong capacity po ninyo? What's your capacity?
Ngayon, Mr. Chair, we have more than 60,000 students.
Are you operating at 100% capacity?
We have some space pa po for increase.
So right now, sabihin mo na 90% kayo, Director Dr. Tirso? Okay. So mahalaga na alam natin ano ba talaga yung capacity ng bawat SUC. Kasi hindi naman po pwedeng increase ng increase. Hindi naman nag-i-increase yung teachers, yung building, yung courses, etc. So every SUC has a limit. Diba? And it is up to CHED, the SUC, DBM, and of course the funders, which is Congress and Senate, to determine up to what level of capacity can you operate. Pero kung ano yung capacity ninyo, kailangan, alam niyo ng CHED. CHED yung magsasabi, Dr. Tiso, hanggang 60,000 ang naman talaga yung kaya ninyo. Now, syempre po kami, ang gusto namin, operating at 100% capacity po kayo. So, Director Vivian, kung 100% capacity po sila, wala namang dagdag na expansion, yun. Di ba? Kasi we cannot naman operate beyond our capacity. Our quality will suffer. No, so there's that upper limit, which is our capacity, which I'm sure Ched has an idea kung ano yan. I'm sure Chairperson Shirley wants to respond also. Yun talaga yung upper limit natin. At pagdating sa planning at funding, it's dependent on what percentage of capacity are we hitting. Now, syempre po, ang nais namin, dahil nandiyan na po ang SUCs natin, nasa 100% yan. Pag 110% yan, nagsasuffer yung quality. Di ba? So, nagtataas tayo ng MOE, Personal Services Capital Outlay, to expand. So, if you have extra funding for those aspects, you can say, hindi na kami 60,000. Actually, 70,000 na yung kaya namin. At pakipondohan po ang 70,000 na estudyante. Ganyan po dapat yung planning natin, no? And with better data, corresponding cost per student, corresponding enrollment, no? We'll be able to fund everybody better. And we want you to operate at 100% capacity. So I think all of these things for DBM and for the SUCs for CHED, medyo we need to have another kind of planning talaga, no? And if kung di ho natin ito mahahabol for this year, going into next year, kailangan medyo mas ganyan po yung ating planning, kasama po dyan yung cost per student para we can compare din across SUCs, no? I think this is a better way. Plus, ito po yung gusto ko rin i-raise mamaya, ang dami nating sources of funds. We have the MOE, PS, and capital outlay. We have the FHE. Siyempre po, nung napasa yung 10931, magkaiba yung item ng free higher ed. But in actuality, that goes to the same bucket. Diba? It goes to the same bucket. It goes to the same number of students. So, yung cost per student natin is not just the 10931 allocation. It's the 10931 allocation plus your actual budget divided by the total number of enrollees. That's really our cost per student. Ayun yung gusto ko nating malaman. At pag na-compare na po natin yan, we'll be able to have a better planning. And yung capacity po ng mga eskwelahan po ninyo, I'm sure CHED also will say, or the board will say, or for Batangas State, actually, hindi ho yan 60,000, kaya yan ng 65,000. Or, baka masyadong generous po yung 60,000, baka masyadong maraming estudyante sa classroom mo ninyo, talagang 50,000 lang talaga yan. And that number is so crucial to our planning and to our budgeting, no? And if we can't get it right for this year, hopefully we can really go through this process until next year na malinaw po itong mga numerong ginagamit natin. Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Before President Pilio, si Senator Lauren.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to put on record that yesterday, PASUC had already stated that the projected 2026 shortfall based on the NEP is 3.5 billion. I wanted to clarify that so that all these questions about sino ba ang sinusunod na template for projection of number of students can be solved if we, the Senate, amend the budget of SUCs according to the number of students. Dahil iba-iba naman lahat for 3.5 billion. I just wanted to clarify, is that an accurate figure? And is that based on all your consultations, sir, with all the SUCs? And this will solve the projection 2026 if it's augmented in the GAA. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. To respond, Mr. Chair, this is based on projection, which we assume have some plus-minus marginal error. This is in our assessment or computation, 3.29 billion. That is based on the projected enrollment of our SUCs. As given by or expressed by Senator Win, tama po kayo, iba-ibang SUC, iba-iba ng growth rate. We believe so. So, ito pong nakuha ng PASUC is based on the survey of our SUCs, which as compared to what DBM is doing, average for all, so meron po talagang konting deficiency. But for the record, I think related to the capacity of SUCs or absorptive capacity, be it noted that that is running capacity because our SUCs have continuing development. Year in, year out, we are increasing in our spaces, academic spaces, because let's say by the time is week, we have ongoing construction that our absorbing capacity this year may not be the same, or for sure it will be higher next year. So just to put in record that the absorbing capacity is a running figure. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair.
Thank you for that. Yes, Chair Group.
Yeah, thank you very much. Speaking of numbers, it's really drowning to look on numbers. As of 2023 to 2024, we have 805,300 college graduates. But if you see the unemployment rate, 38% of the college graduate constitute the unemployment. So that's why the trifocalized education system, Secretary Kiko and Secretary Sani, including me, is now working on the number. Question number one is that while we espouse to educate all our people, are we enrolling these young people to answer the demand of our workforce in the Philippines? That's why we already signed a MOA with the Department of Labor and Employment to determine the demand in the workforce versus the supply. Because the demand in the workforce to be provided by the DOLE and other industry will be the input as guidance for the HEIs to enroll. Second question is that there is a big question on oversubscription and undersubscription. I manifest that SUCs should also, let us not just wait from the Commission on Higher Education, although we are addressing it now. Let us not just accept our students based on our capacity, because as of now, it has already over yung absorption capacity nila, because while we enroll, like for example, MMSU, I started with 8,000, but because of this UNIFAS law, we keep on increasing, but the increase in enrollment does not correspond to the increase of faculty position and classroom position. So I manifest, Mr. Chair, that we slow down muna. The SecKiko, TESDA and higher education are now working closely with the numbers because we are investing so much now in education. But the question is, are we getting the right return of investment from our education? We identified 10 major programs that are badly needed in our country, but these are programs that are very hard to fill. Why? Because of this UNIFAS law, nandiyan na yan eh. So gusto ko ng diploma, sabi yung bata, ito lang ang ino-offer ng university na malapit sa amin. That's why the President espoused our proposal for a Bagong Pilipinas Merit Scholarship Program with a very clear guideline. Those students who graduate from the top 5 and then who are accepted in a university, whether private or public, and who are willing to enroll to the priority programs. So what I am telling is, nung panahon ko kasi meron National College Entrance Examination. And we are now working with DepEd and TESDA with UP because the UPCAT system is very good. So that with the National Entrance Examination, we can properly advise the students. Anak ko, huwag ka munang punta sa college. You go muna sa TESDA. Because at this level, we need more workforce than this one. And in order not to curtail the students' ambition to get that diploma, we are now working with the seamless pathway with TESDA. So marami po talagang dapat gawin. So, but we can assure the good committee here in higher education that the focalized education system is now working dynamically, and we thank UP because they want to work with us for the National College and the automated National College examination, and the Bagong Pilipinas Scholarship Program is now solving that problem. We are in dire need of this 10 program. Thank you for the opportunity.
Senator Bam.
Chairman, Chairperson Shirley, so I understand yung sinasabi ho ninyo, no? But hindi ho ba yan reforma na kailangan gawin ng mga SUCs pagdating sa course offerings nila? Yes, di ba? Kasi kumbaga ho, yung mga estudyante, mag-enroll naman yan kung ano yung offering ng mga skulahan. So if you have more slots in programs na sa tingin na